Hello everyone, welcome to the day 2 poster presentation. We have two sessions today. First brachytherapy, then dosimetry and QA. The brachytherapy session will start now. The honorable judges panel of brachytherapy are Dr. Frank Hansley from Germany and Professor Dr. Hasin Anupama Ajhari and Mr. Safayed Jaman from Bangladesh. Mr. Safayed Jaman is convener of this session. I request our technical team, please start the session. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Good morning, all. I am from Nilima Pokala Meherbai Data Memorial Hospital, Jamshedpur, Jharkhand. I want to present topic on the dosmetric comparison between tandem ring and brachytherapy. Cervical cancer is the third most common cancer and the second most leading cause of death in Indian population. In addition to external beam therapy, brachytherapy is also plays crucial to achieve the high dose to gross tumor volume to improve disease control and the survival rate of the patients. Traditionally, tandem ovid applicators is used to deliver doses to intracavitary brachytherapy. Intracavitary brachytherapy remains the most commonly practiced form of cervical cancer brachytherapy. Nowadays, different types of applicators are available to deliver intracavitary brachytherapy, such as tandem ring applicators, tandem cylinder applicators, hybrid applicators, interstitial applicators to deliver intracavitary brachytherapy. The aim of this study is to compare the dosimetric difference in tandem ovid and tandem ring applicators. In generally, when we want to decide give the intracavitary brachytherapy, we have a little bit confused. Is there any dosimetrical difference between tandem ovid and tandem ring applicators? To control that confusion, we have started this study to dosimetrically, is there any difference in delivering the doses to ICRU point doses and the OER doses, and what is the level of the isodose volumes in both the applicators. In our study, we included 20 patients at the mean age of 51 years to check this study. For this 20 patients, we have generated four treatment plans based on two planning optimization techniques. For these 20 patients, we have done either with tandem ovid and tandem ring applicators. The type of the applicator and the sequence of the applicators was chosen randomly for these patients. For these 20 patients, we have generated four plans and two optimization techniques. The first optimization technique we used is the point A based normalization technique. As these patients received external beam radiotherapy 50 gray in 25 fractions, and the brachytherapy is planned for 9 gray per fraction in 2 fractions. Now, for point A normalization based plan, we have delivered the point A 9 gray dose with standard loading technique and optimize the plan for point A normalization. For this, we have get two plans. For one is for ovid applicator and the other is for ring applicator. And the second optimization technique we used here is the OER based normalization technique. In this, we are done the planning depending on the OER optimization. For this, we have used the recommended dose constraints such as 100% dose delivery to the 90% of HRCTV, and for OARs, the recommended dose constraints as with EBRT plus brachytherapy, the EQ due to 2 cc volumes of the bladder is less than 90 gray, and same for the rectum and sigmoid, EQ due to for the both EBRT doses and brachytherapy doses should be less than 75 gray to 2 cc volume. Based on these dose constraints, we optimized the plans and we recorded the values of the ICRU point doses and the dose volumes. For this study, we compared both the dose volume and point dose volume parameters in both the applicators. The results are as that the OER doses assessed by DVH criteria are lower than ICRU point doses for bladder and rectum with both tandem and OER ring applicators for point A normalized plans. And both bladder and sigmoid are higher in tandem OER than tandem ring applicator, but not statistically significant. And the rectum doses are higher in tandem ring applicator than tandem OER applicator. The isodose volumes are higher in point A normalized plans rather than OER-based optimized plans in both the applicators. The ICRU point doses are lower in OER-based plans than in point A normalized plans in both the applicators. The results are indicated in the graphical representation here. The first graph represents about the point A normalization for doses versus the bladder doses for 2 cc, 1 cc, and 0.1 cc, rectum doses for 2 cc, 1 cc, and 0.1 cc, sigmoid doses for 2 cc, 1 cc, and 0.1 cc, and the ICRU point doses for rectal point, bladder point, point A, and point B doses, and the right point A. In this planning technique, we normalize to left point A, and the left point A get the 9-day dose as the prescribed dose. For this, in the second graph, it represents the OER-based planning technique doses for ICRU point doses. As we already optimized the plan according to the recommended doses for the OER doses, here in the graph, it is represents only the ICRU point doses for the OER optimized plans. In the third graph, it represents the isodose volumes for both applicators, tandem OER.
Nilima Pokala is present this session. I request the honorable judges, if you have any questions, you can do so.
Frank, are you here?
Yes, I am. I did not quite understand the difference between the two optimization or the two dosage techniques that you used. What you call the OER based dose. You say this was optimized, or was this, or is this also a are the dwell times all equal in these plans?
I had optimized with the OER doses, sir.
You optimized, okay, using those points on the OERs.
Sir.
Is that correct? Okay.
With isodose volume optimization, dose shaper, I has optimized the bladder doses and rectum doses and sigmoid doses as per the recommendations.
With the dose shaper, okay. So it's not an algorithm. It's something you did manually.
Sir.
Okay. And now there you see in your third diagram, you do see differences between the point A dosage and the shape doses that you use and with the manual optimization.
Sir.
Yes. Okay. What is our action now? Do we go to the next talk, or should we have any specific actions at this moment? Don't quite know the procedure. Anupama, I think you need to unmute.
Yeah, we can go for the next talk. Safat, do you want to say anything?
I think we have an evaluation form that we have to put our feedback on. I think Hensley sir was asking about that. Sir?
Yes, that was one thing. Yes, I don't know of any.
You have an Excel sheet for the brachytherapy?
No, I believe not. Let's see, maybe. in one of the recent
Yeah, we
mails?
have sent you. We have sent you. If you miss the email, then we can send you again.
Yes, Dr. Hensley, sir, you
Yeah.
will be sent an email.
Okay,
that
maybe that's easier than finding it
consists
on
of
my old
the
mails.
poster presenters and with the along with the Excel sheet with an evaluation form that you have to put
Okay.
your marks on out of 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, thank you. That was.
Yeah, we can proceed to the next presenter, please.
Okay, thank you. Dear technical team, please start the next presentation. Alamgir Hussain presentation. Thank you.
At first, I introduce myself. This is Dr. Alamgir Hussain, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, University of Rajshahi. Today, my topic is the effect of total reference air karma on the outcomes of single-channel and tri-channel applicators in high-dose rate brachytherapy for cervical cancer. Institute Affiliation, Department of Physics, University of Rajshahi, Bangladesh. Department of Radiotherapy, Rajshahi Medical College Hospital, Rajshahi. Introduction. The yearly incidence of cervical cancer for 2018 was 5,69,847, contributing 69% of the total cancer diagnosis. Reference number 1. In lower and middle income countries, it causes a social economic impact. Reference 2. The number of cervical cancer patients was 14,065 annually, demonstrating the number of total death was 500,266 in United States. Reference 3. The traditional method for cervical cancer is to single channel and tri-channel applicators. In 2018, cervical cancer was the fourth most common cancer in worldwide aims. The goal of this reflective study was to observe if there was a link between total reference air karma TRAK and treatment outcomes in high-dose rate brachytherapy for cervical cancer using single-channel and tri-channel applicators. Methods and materials. Patients who receive external beam radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and brachytherapy using single and tri-channel applicators are followed in the respective cohort study from 2016 to 2020 in Department of Radiotherapy. The international protocol was to calculate all brachytherapy parameters, including tissue reference air totals reference air karma. A log rank test was to analyze for cervical cancer using the Kaplan-Meier method due to cervical analysis. Figure 1 shows the diagram for high-dose rate brachytherapy for cervical cancer. High-dose rate brachytherapy applies for cervical cancer. This diagram shows the cervix anatomy of a patient, and this figure also shows the total air karma in x-axis and y-axis the total days received in the patients. And then the rock curve shows the sensitivity and specificity, and finally due to Kaplan-Meier analysis, the cervical curve. results and discussion, the total reference air karma was 0.52 centigrade per meter square for the cervical for the tri-channel applicator and 0.34 centigrade for the meter square for the single channel applicator respectively based on treatment duration of 15.34 10 to 20 days and 21.35 6.52 20 days based on tissue total reference air karma. The Pearson correlation for tumor rectum and bladder was 0.082 to 0.009 and 0.032 respectively. The sensitivity and 1- specificity were 0.70 and 0.30. The UC was 0.717. The survival rate was 95% and 85% for tri-channel and single channel applicator respectively using the log rank test. Conclusions for tumor, rectum, and bladder, total reference air karma was linked to treatment duration and Pearson correlation, implying that total reference air karma should be considered for the proper outcomes of single channel and trans-channel applicators. Author would like to thanks to the Department of Radiotherapy, Rajshahi Medical College Hospital, Rajshahi, Bangladesh. Thank you very much.
Alamgir Hossain is present here. Dear honorable judges, please ask question if you have. Madam, please unmute yourself.
Mr. Alamgir, so you have said that the reference air karma rate. So you tell that it is the related with the time duration. So what do you actually would like to give a correlations? Because the reference air karma rate has also in these equations there is a time relation with them. Hello.
Again, please, madam. Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, here, madam.
You said that what is your last result that you would like to make a correlation with reference air karma rate with the time, isn't it?
Yes, correlation.
Correlation. So can you just tell me what are the depending factors of the reference air karma rate?
Oh, okay. Thank you, madam. This is simply two factors I reflected. One is tri-channel and single channel. Here I found the result. Tri-channel is, according to cervical rate, is 95%. Then single channel means 85%. Is the imperfect factor many parameters related to total air karma. When we calculate the total air karma risks, many factors related, like patient radiation dose rate is important, is another factor also important, but mainly I focus the correlation effect based on tri-channel and single channel.
Tri-channel, you mean tandem and OER?
Yes, madam. Again, please.
Yes.
Can you?
What do you mean by tri-channel?
Oh, yes, madam, thank you. Tri-channel means the three.
No, I'm asking you, in our country only the tandem and OER is used. Would you?
Yes, I use the Rajshahi Medical Hospital brachytherapy unit, the tri-channel and single channel
The
separate.
pressure applicator, right?
Yes, applicator.
Fletcher.
Fletcher applicators, yes. Because have you seen we do not have the ring applicator, but have you seen what is the happening with in comparison with the ring applicator with the Fletcher applicator?
Oh, yes, the tri-channel is radiation is very high. Using cobalt 60 therapy, according to my research, tri-channel is the survival rate is very high than single channel survival rate. Is the benefits over it was the benefit tri-channel used than single channel used in
But
cancer, cervical cancer, specific cervical cancer.
But you
But
know that's
I
why
think
the Fletcher applicator is used, because it for the fornix the OER is used. So if we use only the single channels for the cervix, then it cannot cover the radiation for the fornix.
for
So
post-ops.
so what do you think, Frank?
Yes, I believe you have a good point there. Maybe a question first: where the patients or were the tumor sites different for the patients with which you use the tri-channel or the single channel applicators? Because probably the single channel is actually more suited to treat
Vaginal
tumors
canal.
that are farther feetwards or outside the uterus, and whenever you have something that is connected to the fornix, you will probably get a better dose distribution with the tri-channel. So could that be part of the difference between the outcomes that you see?
Yes, yes. So I was, because outside the service, but when we think of the service, I think it will, fornix is also covered with the things.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Maybe I have another question. What I did not quite understand is what your use of the ROC, the receiver operator curve, is. What are you plotting there as the sensitivity and one minus the sensitivity? What?
Dear sir, I used the rock curve for sensitivity and specificity for calculating AOC. AOC value was 0.717, and I sensitivity and specificity 1 minus sensitivity specificity equal to 1. This the result sensitivity plus specificity equal 1. That means here my result 0.70 is sensitivity and 1 minus specificity 0.30.
Yes, but the sensitivity of what?
Sensitivity is the positive rate of the cases.
Positive in which respect? That's what I don't understand. What is?
Oh, okay. Just I understand. Sensitivity is sensitivity actually analyze the specific point of ROC curve. ROC curve indicates the patient.
Yes.
ROC curve. This means this figure is y-axis. Y-axis shows the sensitivity.
Yes. Sensitivity is normally a measure of was my prediction or was my prediction correct? No, that would be the specificity, and the sensitivity is did my model predict the effect that I'm looking for? And what is the effect that you are looking for? The survival or?
Sensitivity is not very. This the output not variable. Just 1 minus specificity is variable, and output is sensitivity. Output means outcome.
The outcome.
Outcome of the treatment.
Okay.
Yes, treatment, outcome of the treatment.
Yes. Mhm.
And
Okay.
and one minus sensitivity is y-axis, x-axis, and
Yes.
y-axis sensitivity.
Mhm.
And that's mean why the outcomes of the treatment is sensitivity.
Mhm.
And according to this curve, we found the survival rate curve, and the x-axis the months or duration, and y-axis
Yes.
we get the survival cumulative survival.
Yes. Yes. The survival curve, I understand. Mhm. Okay. Okay. I still don't quite understand how you can use
Okay,
outcome as
okay,
a
okay,
measure for this,
okay. Dear sir, I clearly explain the total outcome sensitivity means the ability of a test or correctly identify a patient with a disease. Sensitivity
yes,
means
yes, yes,
yes.
yes, to identify the patient. But when you're speaking of outcome is something, well, in terms of years or of a survival rate or something like that.
Yes,
Um,
and here the sensitivity, here the survival rate.
mhm.
Survival rate is this here the survival rate, sir.
Okay, so you use the survival rate sort of as a predictor.
As a predictor, is a physics is time.
Mhm. Mhm.
Duration of the treatment time, treatment duration,
Mhm.
like here 5 years.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, we have to think about that a little bit. All
Okay.
right. Thank you very much. Mhm.
Thank you also very much, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Frank, when we would like to send several times the evaluation form at your email, but your email shows blocked. So can you write your email again to the chat box?
Yes, of course. But I've been getting the other mails correctly. So and in my mails I didn't find this Excel plot. But you could maybe just try and resend it the same way that you sent the invitation to join the meeting here, and I should get it. The mail was correct then. And I didn't see anything in the spam boxes either that maybe was rejected. So I don't really understand why
Okay,
this
I'm
is
again
right.
sending. Okay.
Just resend it to the same mail that you have, and I'll check whether something arrives.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Our next presenter is Kalyan Mandal from India. Please start his presentation.
Thank you, organizers, for giving me the opportunity to present here. Today, I'm going to discuss the topic plan quality score to evaluate the impact of dual time deviation constant on IPSA optimized treatment plans of MUPID-based interstitial brachytherapy in cervical cancer. Introduction. Hyperdose leads always exist in around the source, is always exist in interstitial brachytherapy, and sometimes these small high dose regions joins together to form a large volume inside the target. Although the impact of this large volume of high dose on dosimetric or clinical outcome is not understood properly, but several approaches has been used to reduce these volumes, and DTDC or dual time deviation constant is one of them. So basically DTDC supposed to restrict the large dual time difference between consecutive dual positions. So in this study, we have evaluated the impact of DTDC on the plan quality using the IPSA optimization for interstitial brachytherapy, and we have used that MUPIT applicator for cervical cancer patients treatment. So what method we have used? We have taken 10 patients for this study, and all the patients treatment plan is done, a city-based planning is done for all the patients, and we have created one graphical plan and 6 IPSA optimized plans with different DTDC values for all the patients, each patient. And for IPSA optimized plans, we have keeping all the other parameters fixed except the values of DTDC. So in total, we have created 70 treatment plans, and all the 70 plans are evaluated in this study. And coverage index, dose homogeneity, and conformity index also calculated using various DVH parameters like D90, V100, V150, V200, and V300. Gain factors for OERs were also calculated using these values, and finally using these planning indices and gain factors, we have calculated one parameter that is called plan quality score. You can we have formulated in this work and given in equation 1. You can see the formula is given in equation 1, and in figure 1 you can see the typical dose distribution of for graphical and IPSA optimization. Both in both optimization, you can see that small high dose regions joins together to form large high dose inside the target. Now come to the result section. In figure 2, you can see that at the tip of the catheter there are large dual time. So when we implemented DTDC, it started to reduce, and at the maximum values of DTDC, it nearly constant. You can see the blue line that all the dwell time is constant over all the dual positions. Now come to the figure 3. You can see that implementing DTDC reduces the dwell time difference, but at the cost of target coverage loss. You can see that beyond the value of 0.6, that values of V 100% is started to decrease. And in this figure 3, you can also see that in that high dose regions volume, that is defined by V150, V200, and V300. You can see that for graphical optimization is higher compared to IPSA optimization, and for the value V150 and V200, with the increasing of DTDC, you can see that these values are somehow fluctuating in nature, but the value of V300 nearly constant over the variation of DTDC. Now come to the relative gain for OERs. You can see that in figure 4 demonstrated. You can see that relative OER sparing over the target coverage loss is more in sigmoid compared to bladder and rectum. You can see that gain factor is nearly constant up to the value of 0.6, and then it started to decrease, where for sigmoid it is increases with the increasing value of DTDC. So now you can see in figure 5 all the multiple planning indices is plotted with respect to DTDC. You can see that IPSA have better homogeneity, dose homogeneity with adequate target coverage, but conformity is more. We have observed conformity is more conformal dose distribution for graphical compared to IPSA. But one more thing in this figure, you can notice that with the variation of DTDC, all these values are fluctuating in nature. That means some values, some indices are decreases, and some indices are increasing in nature. So so it is very difficult to choose the best plan by inspecting all these indices together. So we need some unique value to easily evaluation of the plan. So for that purpose, we can conclude that the plan quality score is more useful to choose the best plan instead of inspecting the individual indices. And secondly, we can say that the implementing DTDC, the large dwell time difference is reduced So that certain dose uncertainty to the nearest OER is also reduced by this method. And you can see in this figure 6 that with the increasing value of DTDC, plant quality score is increased. So we can say that implementing DTDC on the IPSA optimized plants, the overall plant quality improves. But it's also noticeable that beyond 0.6, it can produce dosimetrically suboptimal plants. So we are suggesting that we are suggesting that sorry for the interruption, that use of DTDC should be limited and must be specific to some particular cases. And we also want to suggest that effects of number of needles and volume of the implant is also need to study, correlating the dual time modulus and restriction. And that's all. Thank you.
Alian Mondal is present this session. Dear judges, if you have any questions, please ask him.
The participants, if you have any of the question to the speakers, then you can also write in the chat box.
I believe this was quite clear. I actually have no questions, I believe. Maybe just for interest. One thing that I think your poster does clearly show is that the dwell time restrictions, they if you put them too high, you will get less dose coverage in your targets and things like that. So there is an optimum, and that's actually what you see on your curve on figure 4, I believe it was, the one below, that there is that the your index, I would say, remains more or less constant up to a certain point, and then it begins to decline. And that, I believe, is what happens when the dwell time restrictions begin to even out all the single dwell times, and you are losing dose conformality. So I think that is something that your poster actually nicely shows.
Yes, sir. Yes, that is the fact. When we implemented above the 0.6 DTDC value, beyond 0.6, it started to decrease the target coverage.
Yes. Okay, I think we could move on, I believe. I guess we're way ahead in our time, but I don't know how far the next session is, since it's come.
We do not have any presentation. Do we have any presentation more?
No, I believe not.
This is first.
No.
Thank
you all and our honorable judges for your valuable time. We finished this session. Now we can move on the next session, dosimetry and QA. The honorable judges panel of the dosimetry and QA are Dr. Thomas Kron from Australia, Dr. Ranata Walter from Germany, Dr. Akhtaruজ্জামান from Bangladesh, and Dr. Suresh Das from India. Dr. Akhtaruজ্জামান is convener of this session. I request our technical team, please start the PP4. Please start the next session.
Thank you, Masum.
Hi, my presentation title is Dosmetric Evaluation of Helical Tomotherapy DHT and Volumetric arc rate therapy VMAT in patients with liver radiotherapy treatment. The background: liver malignancy are one of the leading causes of cancer morbidity and mortality around the world. Surgical removal of the tumor is the standard of care for resectable liver malignancy. However, a patient who are suitable candidate for liver surgery is generally less than 20%. Traditionally, radiotherapy had a limited clinical role in management of liver malignancies. Radiation-induced liver disease, the RILD, may occur after following an irradiation of 28 gray in conventional fractionation, and the risk of RILD could be up to 50% when liver received more than 36 gray. Technological improvements in radiotherapy have drastically improved the treatment precision and delivery accuracy. In 2015, the NCCN has included radiotherapy treatment as one of the comprehensive treatment for HCC. Nowadays, there are plenty of choices which are available to deliver radiotherapy for liver cancer patients. Helicotomotherapy is a radiotherapy delivery system with intensity modulated radiotherapy (IMRT) and image-guided feature. Accuray has also launched Synchrony, the respiratory tracking system, in 2020. There was only limited number of reports on evaluating the effectiveness of Radixact system for liver radiotherapy in tumor coverage and normal liver dose sparing comparing to conventional Linac system. In this study, radiation dose distribution and statistics in the gross target volume (GTV) and planned target volume (PTV) were compared in terms of target volume coverage, hotspot within target, homogeneity index, the HI, conformity index, CI, and gradient index, GI. For organ at risk, the OERs comparison, dosimetric parameters including mean BED, mean V 50%, V 30 gray, and Dmax of normal tissues were evaluated. The treatment efficiency in terms of monitor unit per fraction and delivery time were also compared. All VMAT plan that was previously approved by radiation oncologists for real treatments were considered as the benchmark. This study was a retrospective study. Ethics approvals have been obtained from 2 institutions, 12 consecutive patients, 8 males and 4 females with HCC or metastatic liver lesions who had received liver radiotherapy treatment from the 1st of January 2019 to 31 of December 2020 were included in the study. The total number of liver lesions evaluated were 14. The radiation oncologist contoured the GTV based on the tumor, which was visualized in a contrast-enhanced CT images. The oncologist analyzed tumor's motion using the 4D CT images. By considering a total of 10 phases, the ITV of tumor was defined. The planned target volume was created by adding a 3 mm uniform margin to ITV, which considered for setup error and uncertainty. The OERs including whole liver, normal liver, kidneys, heart, spinal cord, esophagus, ribs, and GI gastrointestinal system were delineated. All RT structures were contoured by an experienced physicist and approved by an experienced oncologist. All VMAT pans were created on Monaco workstations by physicists and approved by the same oncologist. The final dose calculation was performed with Monte Carlo algorithm and 3 mm dose precise. In the replanned HT plan, all HT plans were created on precision workstations by experienced physicists and approved by the same oncologist. The main parameters were used, including the 2.5 cm view size, pitch ranging from 0.157 to 0.212. The modulation factor ranged from 2 to 2.5 with the dynamic jaw settings. After plans approved, the approved plans with RT dose were exported back to the main workstation for DVH analysis. The dose constraints for normal tissues were according to RTOG guidelines and contact criteria and reports from various authors. Patient plan-specific QAs were also performed to make sure all plans were deliverable and pass the physics QA test. Furthermore, the delivery time and number of monitor units per fractions of each treatment plan were recorded and compared. We use SPSS for our data analysis and also the parity test. The p-value is less than 0.05 was considered as statistically significant. And here is the patient and tumor characteristics. The gender, the age, the BMI, lesion numbers, primary tumor site, The GTV and PDV volumes and prescriptions were also reported. The PDV dosimetric results are presented in this table. All PDV parameters suggested that the helical tomotherapy plan is comparable to VMAT plans, although there were no significant difference in our study. For the OER, dosimetric results are presented in this table. All OER parameters suggest that the HT plan is comparable to VMAT plans, same as PDV. There was also no significant difference in our studies. Here is one of the results. The HT plan approach is on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side is the VMAT plan. This gentleman suffered from HCC. The prescription was 50 gray delivered in 5 fractions, and various isodose lines were presented, and the volumes of GTV and PDV were around 12 cc and 63 cc. Here is the result of the PDV parameters. In this case, HT plan had lower PDV 110%, which is the hotspot, is observed, and larger gradient index, which indicate less sharp fall off of the treatment plan. And here is the OER result, including the bowel, duodenum, esophagus, great vessel, heart, and liver are presented. You can see the HT plan and VMAT plan are very comparable. The mean dose of liver for VMAT and HT plan are around 13.22 gray and 13.65 gray. And here is another OER result, including the kidneys, ribs, spinal cord, stomach, and normal liver are presented. The HT plan and VMAT plan are also very comparable. The mean dose of normal liver, which is the normal liver minus the PDV, for the VMAT and HT plan are 11.33 gray and 11.09 gray respectively. For dosimetric analysis of target volume, all HT plans could generate a higher coverage on GTV and PDV, but also slightly more hotspot within the target volume. The values of CI and HI by the HT plan are comparable to the VMAT. However, there were not significant difference between those techniques. The difference in liver volume, mean and maximum dose between the HT and VMAT plan were found to be statistically insignificant in our study, except the values of V 50%. All liver dosimetric parameters, including mean V30 gray, were observed to be higher in HT plan than VMAT plan. This may be due to HT plan deliver higher integral dose to patient compared to VMAT. For the rest of OERs, our study found that there was no significant difference between the plans. All HT treatment plans had higher amount of MU per fraction than that of VMAT, and the average delivery time of the HT plan was around 5.8 minutes longer than the VMAT plan. In conclusion, our study suggests that Radixact HT system could achieve similar dosimetric results in terms of PDV coverage and sparing of OERs, compared with conventional LINAC VMAT system for liver radiotherapy treatments. In addition, a reduction of dose to both kidneys were observed in HT plan. However, all HT plans shows less efficiency, including in terms of more MU and longer treatment delivery time. Further investigation study of the rate of complication, abdominal toxicity, and long-term outcomes are highly recommended to fully capture the impact of HT for liver radiotherapy treatments. The limitation, first, the patient size is relatively small, 12 patients. A larger sample size to evaluate the difference is highly recommended. Second, although all target volume were delineated and treatment plans were approved by an experienced radiation oncologist, further evaluation of physician-to-physician variation is highly recommended. Third, we used 2 different dose calculation algorithms to calculate dose distribution on HT and VMAT plans separately. It may cause intrinsic variation and may lead to obtain different dosimetric results. Here is my reference. Thank you.
Anson Cheung is present this session. I request the
Yes.
honorable judges, if you have any questions, you can do so, please.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I think it is reassuring to see that the results are similar. I should introduce myself. I'm Thomas Cron. I'm the chair of the panel for this dosimetry session. You were mentioning that you did measurements for the quality assurance. Can you briefly comment on the pass rates or the quality assurance results for HT versus the VMAT plan?
Yes, thank you for your questions. In our center, we use the Delta 4 systems to do the QA on the VMAT plan and also the helical tomotherapy plan. And all of the results are higher than 95%. I mean, the gamma analysis using the 3 mm and 2% the dose difference. And I would comment the physics QA were performed successfully and all the plans are deliverable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have a question to you. For VMAT plan, do you have also tried with and without jaw tracking?
You mean the tomotherapy plan with and without the
for plan with the LINAC VMAT?
Yeah.
Do you have tried to have a plan, compare your plan with jaw or without jaw tracking?
We didn't try that before, but for the what we use for the VMAT plan is we use the Monaco systems, and we use the SSO, the shape optimization function. We aim to have a sharper fall off of the from the high dose to the low dose regions. Maybe I can try next time, but I can't tell you the answer. Sorry for that.
Thank you.
Okay, shall we move on?
Presenter.
Okay, thank you. Please start the next presentation.
So now we would like to invite the next presenter, Lee Man Aimesele from Hong Kong. Are you there?
Good day, everyone. My name is Michelle Lee. I'm a medical physicist from Canberra Hospital in Macau. It is my honor to join the 21st Aocmp conference this year, and I wish it a great success in advance. The study that I'm presenting today is a dosimetric comparison between IMRT and VMAT in stereotactic body radiation therapy for non-small cell lung carcinoma using 6MV flattening filter-free technique. Before we go any further, I'd like to take a fraction of time to give you some background information of this study, so that you will have a better understanding of why we wanted to do this topic. Our oncology department that I'm working at is currently the only provider of radiation therapy in Macau. As mentioned in the introduction, lung cancer is commonly seen in Macau and Hong Kong with high mortality rate. In fact, it is the top 4 disease that we encounter in everyday practice. So we actually started exploring the use of SBRT for lung cancer as early as in 2016. The study was collaborated with Tonghua College, Hong Kong, and conducted in 2019. Back then, our center did not have 6MV FFF mode yet. However, we knew that there would be a replacement project in 2020 installing a new machine which has 6MV FFF energy. Therefore, we wanted to do a preliminary studies using our previous patient data to illustrate the difference of IMRT and VMAT under FFF mode, so that our oncologists will have a better sense and greater confidence when choosing the treatment technique. Bearing this in mind, so that was literally our primary purpose of doing this study. Back to the content, let me zoom in a little bit. There are totally 20 lung cases enrolled in this study. And they are delivered into two groups. One is centrally located tumor. There are 6 of them with prescription and planning criteria following the RTOG0813 protocol. Another group is the peripheral located tumor, 14 of them, following RTOG0915. Table 1 summarizes the results pretty well. Let's take a look at the highlighted item indicated the main difference and superiorities between two techniques. The finding tells us that IMRT-SBRT does better in Dmax, Dmin, and homogeneity index in both central and peripheral groups. In this study, we used 2 coplanar arcs for Vmax planning. The number of arcs limited the dose moderation and led to less homogeneous dose distribution of Vmax SBRTs. So if the next time we do the same kind of study, we will recommend to have more arcs, maybe start from 2 to 3 arcs at the very beginning. It also shows that IMRT performs better for lung sparing in central and peripheral group respectively. This is basically because Vmax has more entry angles and the volume of lung being irradiated is larger as the beam passing through more lung tissues before reaching the PDV. On the other hand, Vmax SBRT performs better in terms of lowering the skin dose and the gradient. When we look at the D2CM for peripheral cases, as the dose distribution of Vmax does show less spiky than IMRT. It comes to the conclusion that for target coverage, both IMRT and Vmax use similar results. IMRT seems to be superior to Vmax in terms of lung sparing, but actually the magnitude is not much. While Vmax has better skin dose and dose fall-off, and most importantly, shorter treatment time, which is considered as the key advantage, especially for those patients who cannot tolerate long treatment time and who are apparently prone to respiratory motion during treatment. So we'll say that Vmax has its superiority compared to IMRT for lung SBRT. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our department consultant, Dr. Ricky Chow, for leading this project, our oncologist, Dr. Chiu, for her contribution in the grant of approval, and finally the students at Tunghua College for their commitment in this work. Thank you for your listening.
So Michelle is present in this session. Dear judges, please ask any question if you have.
Yes, thank you for this nice presentation, but I didn't got that point that for the peripheral tumor, I think this was written in blue, there was no significant dose for the D1000, but significant for 1500. I was a little bit irritated on that, since when you have in a higher dose range, or in this larger one, why not for the smaller one? Can you come back to that point, please? It was down in the middle. So maybe you showed it, or maybe I didn't got that.
Okay. Can you hear?
Yeah, I hear you.
Good. Thank you. I didn't quite get your question because the reception was not quite nice. Oh, okay. I have to start my video. Okay. You are asking the dose gradient of the 2 cm of the peripheral group and the lung sparing. Yeah. Actually, I did elaborate that the lung sparing actually not much between two groups, but just very slightly superiority seen in the VMAT group. Sorry, in the IMRT group, which is highlighted in the green, is 0.9 gray for the D1000. And in terms of the dose gradient 2 cm, D2cm, the IMRT is better.
Excuse me, it was not on the difference between BMAT and IMRT. I was wondering when you have got, when you look to your table, the green lines are for the central and the green columns are for the central and the blue columns are for the peripheral. And I was just wondering why the peripheral is in D1000, not significant, but have significant, you have something written in your poster there for D1500. So
I think it's because of the location of the tumor.
Okay.
I think, and the peripheral is not many of them. I would say the objects of the study is quite imbalanced because one group has 14 patients and the other group only has 6 patients. So
okay,
yeah, that will be the limitation of this study. So cannot quite give you a quite clear answer about this, but I would suggest maybe because patient.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your question.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Please start the next presentation.
So I'd like to invite the next presenter from Japan, Min Gyeon Choi. I hope you are there.
Hello, I'm Min-gun Choi, a graduate student at Catholic University of Korea. Now, the title of the study to be presented is Simplified Sigmoidal Curve Fitting for 6 MV platinum filter-free proton beam adhesion to determine phase size for beam commissioning and quality assurance. This study was collaborated with Kinda University, Japan. Phase size is important in radiotherapy. Accurate phase size should be measured when measuring the dose of photon beam, because phase size is an important part of beam modeling and TPS dose calculation. However, the representative FWHM or FF beam phase size measuring method is not suitable for measuring the phase size of platinum filter-free beam. So there have been 2 representative studies that measure the phase size of platinum filter beams, such as MSM and PGM. But both methods also have some disadvantage. First, MSM method has a disadvantage in the phase size vary depending on the scanning step, and the PGM does not provide the information of the small phase size. Asian has a different commissioning and QA process than the conventional winner. Asian checked the consistency by comparing it with measurement data based on the provided data, reference data by the vendor. Therefore, the purpose of this study is to define the phase size at all depths of adhesion using the simple sigmoid curve presented by us and apply them to reference data and measure data to confirm the consistency. Basically, the reference data was provided by the vendor, and the sigmoid formula used in this study is as follows. At this time, coefficients use a total of the 4 parameters. In order to define the field size, the formula was subdivided into a total of the 3 region and 2 points, and the detailed formula is as follows. The formula for defining the field size is through the 3 derivatives using a simple sigmoid formula. If field size is defined only with the first derivative, a field size may not be defined because the phenomenal region of the profile cannot be properly covered. The second derivative is to catch the correct IP and SB point. And finally, the field size is defined through the third derivative. The figure on the left is a simple sigmoid formula fitting to the profile provided by the bender, and the right is simple sigmoid formula fitting to the measurement data. The difference between the maximum and minimum value of the parameter is as follows. The field size shows a minimum difference between reference data and measurement data value at the depth of the 10 cm. Depth WHM, which is the field size definition method of the FF beam, does not fit flattening filter free beam. Conventional study define the field size of the flattening filter beam has a different approach from Hessian, which provides reference data along with some disadvantage to confirm consistency with the measurement data. Therefore, Hessian field size definition method presented in this study first ensure the consistency of beam data for all users using Hessian. Second, field size can be defined in a simple way. And last, the parameter value presented in this study, field size can provide criteria that Hessian uses. Thank you for attention.
Mr. Min Jeong is not present here. I would request my technical team to go forward.
It's an honor to have the opportunity to make my presentation here. Today, I would like to talk about effect of axis ion recombination factor on the beam profile in flattening filter photon beams. Introduction. In recent years, linear accelerators that use FFF beam have become popular. The beam quality of FFF beam is different from that of flattening filter beams. The ion recombination factor Ks of the FFF beam tend to affect the dose per pulse. However, a few reports show that the Ks might have changed when measuring of axis points in depth. This study aims to investigate the effect of changing the measurement conditions on the Ks of axis points. A semiflex 3D ionization chamber PTW was used in this study. Ks was calculated by the TBM and the Jaffe plot method. The applied voltages were raised from plus 300 volt to plus 100 volt for both methods. And then the Ks at plus 300 volt was calculated. The ionization chamber was set at 10 centimeter of depth and the Dmax of the phantom. Then the measurements were held in the cross and in line with field size of 10 by 10 to 40 by 40 square centimeter. The measurement intervals was 4 centimeter and the edges of the field were at fewer intervals. After the measurements, the beam profile were normalized at the center of field with smoothing. Then we did local gamma analysis with and without KS application. The criteria were 0.5 millimeter, 0.5% to 2 millimeter 1%. And the failure was defined as a gamma pass rate of less than 95%, excluding outside the field. Fig 1 shows the KS of the 10 megavolt FFF measured at a depth of 10 centimeter of each field size. Plus means the right direction and minus means the left direction. The KS value decreased with the off-axis direction and increased by about 0.4% at the center, further increasing about 0.1% near the field edges for both 6 megavolt and 10 megavolt FFF. There was almost no change in field size and measurement direction, with only a maximum of 0.1% change. Fig 2 shows the result of gamma analysis at Tmax of each field size for 10 megavolt FFF. The KS value decreased to 96% for 30 by 30 square centimeter field. The change of value Dmax was more significant than at 10 centimeter depth, with 76.91% at 0.5% 1 millimeter criteria. The gap of beam profile before and after KS application depend on the off-axis distances. Discussion, displacement in the off-axis direction and changes in the measurement depth seemed to affect the KS. This is because the DPP changes for the off-axis direction of flattened beam might depend on the KS changes. This result indicates that we need to measure the off-axis KS at each depth. As to the gamma analysis of beam profile, the pass rate was worsened as the field size increased, and it was also worsened at Tmax where the KS much higher. Our results showed that the pass rate was within about 96%, but KS might be necessary when measuring 30 by 30 square centimeter or larger field sizes. Even in the profile with the worst scenario, the pass rate was under 95% at 0.5 millimeter 1% criteria, which was not consistent with the results of Jonathan et al., who stated that the pass rate was 94% at 40 by 40 square centimeter and 2 millimeter 1%. A possible reason for differences in this issue was that the measurement intervals were longer and the data were interpolated between the measurement points, resulting in uncertainty. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Okay, thank you. Our next presenter is Asad Jamir. He had not sent his poster presentation. Please move to the next presenter. PP9.
Welcome to my presentation. I am Shoidul Mia, medical physicist, Department of Brachytherapy, Rajshahi Medical College Hospital, Rajshahi. At first, I want to give the thanks of the organizing committee. In this critical situation, they are arranging this program internationally. So thanks for the arranging this conference. So today, now I want to present my presented topics. The topics is the dosimetric measurement of cobalt-60 cell therapy. So let's introduction. We know that the radiotherapy is a complex process with multiple steps, which has an impact on the quality of treatment. The goal of the radiation standards and dosimetry is to ensure that the output of the teletherapy unit. And we know that the accuracy of dosimetry or accurate treatment is a critical step during the radiotherapy of cancer patients. The aims of my study, the aim of the study was to measure the dose rate of cobalt-60 therapy unit by using the Equinox Teratons of machine, which is provided from Canada. The company name is Base Teratonics. This is newly installation in Rajshahi Medical College Hospital. Methods. What is the methods? The methodology involved in the present study is to measurement of actual dose rate is a condition of the absorbed dose to water of cobalt-60 teletherapy unit by source to surface distance techniques used for the EVRT followed by ERS-398 protocols of various cancers and using the standard method. What is the result? In our side, we measured only the actual dose rate of cobalt-60 machine. So this is the measuring equipment and condition. Equipment like electrometer, it was the PTW Unidos. This is the model number. And ion chamber and phantom. The phantom size was 30 to 30 centimeter. And phantom material was, it is a water phantom and it is also IAEA standard. The reference standard is IAEA Austria. The condition of study, dosimetry protocol, we followed IAT RS-398 and SSD technique. SSD was 100 centimeter. And depth in the phantom of the reference point of the chambers, it was 5 gram per centimeter square. So now this is the result. I showed here field size and output. So we measured the dose at 5 centimeter, but I have shown here I showed here Dmax result, Dmax output. So this is the field size 2 from 25 to 25. It depends on the field size and output, and we show how the field size, the dose is increased in case with the field size. So now what is the conclusion? The result thus obtained is average output by actual dosimetry done regularly as a part of quality assurance of cobalt unit. And its deviation from the expected output data is within the permissible limit. This study shows a trend towards the uniformity and better dose delivery. Reference. Previously, I discussed about the protocol. The reference, this is also the protocol TRS-398. The absorbed dose determination external embedded therapy, the international code of practice for dosimetry based on standard of absorbed dose to water, Vienna, Austria. And acknowledgement, I want to thanks special thanks to BAEC guys who was coming here for that dosimetry purpose, and my colleagues who helped me for this study. This is the Department of Brachytherapy at Medical College. And thank you very much.
Mr. Shohidul is not present here, so we can move on the next presentations. Thank you.
Namaskar, this is Dr. Jyoti Bist from Swami Rama Himalayan University, Dehradun, India, and I'm here to represent a topic on quality assurance verification of carcinoma breast VMAT treatment plans, a retrospective analysis of total dosimetry. So the aim was to verify pre-treatment quality assurance plans in total dosimetry system for carcinoma breast cases delivered with the VMAT technique. As you know that VMAT is allows delivery of highly conformal dose distribution in a very short period of time. And before IMRT or VMAT QA delivery, we have to do the patient-specific QA for each patient. And that time, due to the leaking of time and setup problems, the APID becomes a very favorite tool for these QAs, as due to its high contrast, larger detector density, large detecting surface, linear response to radiation dose, and efficient online capabilities. Easy to use QA tool and make it handy for our treatment procedure, for treatment QA verification procedure. So rather than material we have done in this, total 44 patients of carcinoma breast patient were planned with VMAT technique. 2 partial continuous and 2 partial non-continuous arcs were used for VMAT planning. Total 45 grade 20 fraction was prescribed to the patient with 95% of dose coverage. Pre-treatment quality assurance was done for all the patients with total dosimetry. Variant 2 being 2.7 linear accelerator equipped with Millennium MLC 120 MLCs with amorphous silicon electronic brutal imaging device APID with the area of 397 mm by 298 mm flat panel and matrix of 2048 by 1536 we have used for this QAs. The gamma passing criteria was set DTA and DD agreement of 3 mm and 3%. So as you know that total dosimetry algorithm are used to calibrate the APID response or to convert calibrated APID response into a simulated dose plane. For image acquisition, vision, and analysis for total dosimetry, the APID was calibrated according to the vendor specification with dark and flood field images, and dose scaling calibration performed each day of measurement. The use of APID as a dosimeter is based on the converting the measured EPI pixel value to the dose value. Verification of dose delivery and patient can also be assessed using the portal imaging maps measured using APIDs. So portal dosimetry fluence map measured using amorphous silicon APID was convolved using a Monte Carlo simulation based kernel to calculate the dose dispersion in a homogeneous phantom. So we have analyzed each and every fluence of the patient QA, and we have got the results that composite image results what we get. That TTA or the DD agreement was very good, satisfactory, and it was 99.8 plus minus of standard deviation 0.19%. We got these results, and as you can see, we can conclude that portal dosimetry can be used as pre-treatment verification quality assurance tool with limited quality assurance tools in developing countries. Because of its handy and it's easily available, and cost is not as much high as other QA tools are there, and APIDs provide accurate results even with strict gamma passing criteria, and portal dosimetry system is sensitive enough to detect MLC positioning error. And with that, the record and verify system is also there, available in there, and on-site delivery system, MLC motion delivery as planned, independent verification of gantry position, and gantry rotation speed is also verified with it, as the APID is static while the gantry is moving. So with these inherent limitations that we got in other taxes, we are not facing in the APID. So that's why APID is good for QA tools for VMAT and days planning. Definitely, we need to cross calibrate. We need to cross check it with other equipment also, QA tool also. So that is our options. And but even then, the applet can be reliable for IMRT and VMAT QAs. And thank you for this opportunity. And thanks to all the team, all the very best for the program. And for any query, I'm here. This is my contact number and my email ID. So thank you very much.
Vistujat is not present in this session, so we can go forward.
Are you there?
No, sir. She's
Okay,
not.
so we can proceed for the next presenter.
Yes, sir.
And that is Shati Ares from India. Validation of non-coplanar dosimetry for SRS SRT using Octavius 4D dosimetry system.
Hello, sir. Am I audible? Hello.
Shatiras, please mute yourself. We can
Yes.
share your presentation, video presentation. After that, we will ask you a question. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mohammad Abdul Fatah, doing my internship in Radiation Physics Department in Kidwai Memorial Institute of Oncology, Bengaluru, India. I'm going to give a presentation on my study work, validation of non-coplanar dosimetry of SRS SRT using Octavius 4D dosimetry systems. In recent years, SRS and SRT treatment modality have been used widely for treating small lesions. Such modality involves higher dose rates, which has been treated in small fractions or a single fraction. So such kind of modality involves non-coplanar beams of modulated intensity. Before implementing such treatment plans into the patient-specific QA is a very important factor which has to be done before implementing it. For the doing patient-specific QA, the detector plays a major role for detecting or for validating such plans. PTW Octavius 4D dosimeter have the facility to perform non-coplanar beams for performing this QA. It is very important to validate the dosimeter which is used for this non-coplanar beam based QA before implementing to the clinical setup. Most of the detectors lack such facility and such features. The PTW Octavius has recently been developed with such facility and such feature to convert the fluence of various couch angles and to check whether everything, to check whether these things are within the limit. The main aim of this study is to verify the non-standard dosimetry of Octavius 4D systems with SRS 1000 array detector for SRS patient-specific QA. The detector which we are using is SRS 2D array with 977 liquid-filled ion chambers, and the volume of each chamber is 0.003 cc. All plans we have taken 14 plans, and all plans were done in Monaco 5.1 TPS and delivered in Electa Versa HD linear accelerators. In addition to the clinical plans, we also developed one standard plan of 10 x 10 field size before implementing the clinical plans. So these 10 x 10 field plans also done in our Monaco 5.1 TPS. And now the couch setup has been given here. This is the couch setup. Using this setup, we irradiated the 10 x 10 field size. So the field size which we irradiated is under the static gantry and also the 0-degree couch angle. And we have delivered the beam 10 x 10 field sizes, and we have intentionally given a couch error of 1 degree, 3 degree, and 5 degree for the standard 10 x 10 field sizes. And we have evaluated using the gamma index. Simultaneously, after this 10 x 10 field sizes, we also have implemented the same thing using our clinical patients, using the clinical beams. In clinical beams also, we have intentionally given the errors of 0 degree, 1 degree, and 3 degree, and 5 degree. And we have verified the same using using this gamma index parameters. And from our study, we have got the results like The gamma analysis was performed for measured and calculated fluences for both standard as well as the clinical beams. The average gamma passing rate has been kept to 2% to mm, and it is found that it is 99.3% for square fields and 97.2% for SRS and SRT plants. And intentional couch angle errors was introduced, and gamma was dropped from 99.3 to 90.95 for square fields, and for SRS and SRT plants, it has been dropped from 97.2 to 87.7% from 0 degree to 5 degree couch errors. Here we can see a graph plotted for both square fields as well as the couch plants, as well as the clinical plants. We can able to see this blue color dotted line represents for square fields, and orange dot represents for the clinical fields. So with from this graph, we can able to easily predict that as the shift degree increases from 0 to 5 degree, the gamma passing rate got dropped from 98% to 88% for clinical beams, and from 99% to 95%, as I said before. So as I said before, our main aim was to know whether my detector, whatever we are using here, 1000 SRS, is detecting whether it is converting the fluence, whether it is converting the fluence like 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, those errors, those couch errors, whether it is converting that couch error ka fluence into whether it is converting in a 0 degree or not. So from this study, we could able to find that the detector which we are using, 1000 SRS, is converting the fluences even at 0 degree. The feature which is given in PDW Octavius is working well, and it is and it gives the good results. And from this I conclude that the Verisoft PDW can identify couch angle error and convert the fluences from one angle to other. Thank you.
Shathiraj is present in this session. Judges can ask him question.
Thank you very much for a great presentation. I think this is really an important study, and I like the idea that you introduce errors specifically. I am a bit surprised that you're using a 2% 2mm gamma criteria SRS treatments where margins typically are smaller than 2 millimeters. We would be using a 1 millimeter 5% or 1 millimeter 3% gamma criteria for these treatments. And I wonder if you have tried to use a different gamma criterion as well, because couch shifts or couch angle variations of 3 degree are really something which would be unacceptable in many of these treatments. And a 1 millimeter difference might be more sensitive to these treatments.
Yes, yes. Actually, we have also done with the various gamma criteria, ranging from 1% 1 mm to 3% 3 mm, and the combination of both, and we have got the results also.
Would you consider clinically to use a smaller distance to agreement? Because I must admit, I find these relative large distance to agreement. If you, for example, treat a vertebral saber treatment, then a 2 millimeter shift is completely unacceptable.
Okay.
What is the minimum field size you have modeled in your planning system to deliver the SRS or SRT plan?
Sorry, sir. Can
what
you
is
say
the
again?
minimum field size you have modeled in your planning system to make the SRS or SRT plan?
The minimum field size it varied from 2 cross 2 to 5 cross 5.
2 by 2.
Haan, sir.
Okay, 2 by 2. And what detector you have used to measure the such a small field dosimetry?
Yeah, SRS 1000 array. Yeah. But we have kept a standard to give a reference. We have kept a 10 cross 10. But the detector is
okay. But what is the detector you have used for dosimetric measurement for such smaller field sizes?
So for measuring those smaller field size, only we have
Yes,
used this
yes.
SRS.
What is the detector or what is the ionization chamber you have used?
Yeah, ionization chamber is liquid ionization chamber.
Liquid ionization. Okay. Renata, you have any question?
I had the same as you.
Okay. So anyway, we are going to next presenter. That is Sumanta Manna from India. That is also quality assurance. Sumanta Manna is there. Or can I ask technical team to play the next?
No, sir. Excuse me, sir. Shumanta Manna is not here, but we have his video presentation. Please share the video
Yes,
presentation.
yes. Please play that.
Dear technical team, please share the PP12 presentation.
Sir, I have a PPT, not a video. This is.
It's Thomas here. There was only a PDF uploaded, if I'm not mistaken, which wouldn't run as a video. So people are welcome to have a look at the PDF, which shows the paper, but I did not find a video in the documentation.
Dr. Akhtar Jones, sir, can we go the next presenter?
I think there is some technical difficulties.
Yes.
That is why we have to go to the next presenter. The next presenter is Masakatsu Takeda from Japan. And his presentation title is Calibration Coefficient of a Parallel Plate Ionization Chamber in High Energy Small Field Photon Fields. I think that is very interesting.
Okay. Masakatu, please share your presentation.
Okay. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, clear.
Yes, we can.
But I can't share my presentation. I try share my presentation, but cancelled.
So that he can share his screen.
Please make him co-host. Masakatu.
Yes. Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. I will start my presentation. The title is Calibration Coefficients of a Parallel Plate Ionization Chamber in High Energy Small Field Photon Beams. Introduction and purpose. Our research group are developing a primary standard of the absorbed dose to water in high energy high energy photon and electron beams to reduce an uncertainty of dosimetry. Recently, the radiotherapy using small field photon beams is carried out in many hospitals like IMRT, SRS, and VMAT, and so on. According to the technical report series number 483, the uncertainty of dosimetry has been increasing. So we developed a primary standard of small field dosimetry. In the previous study, the uncertainty of the volume averaging correction factor was main cause of the calibration uncertainty. In this study, a loose type ionization chamber with same sensitive volume as the calorimeter was calibrated, and we attempt to reduce the calibration uncertainty. Materials and methods. You can see the measurement setup. The calorimeter and the ionization chambers were placed at the reference steps. The compact graphite calorimeter was used as a primary standard. This calorimeter is made of graphite and has 3-layer structures from the inside, core, jacket, and the shield. Thermistors were implanted in the core and measures the temperature rise during irradiation. The core diameter and the sensitive volume are 20 mm and 0.62 cc respectively. Next, the EX-Radin A11 chamber has same sensitive volume as that of the calorimeter. We calibrated the IBA FC23C chamber in the previous study, and I will present it along with the result of this study. For the small field dosimetry, it is important to consider the volume averaging correction factor. It is important to consider the volume averaging effect. We evaluated the volume averaging correction factor using the Gafchromic EBT3 film. At this time, since the A11 chamber has same sensitive volume as the calorimeter, the volume averaging correction factor of the A11 chamber equal the volume averaging factor of the calorimeter. So the two correction factors cancel each other out. Next, it was necessary to conversion the absorbed dose to graphite to the absorbed dose to water, because the absorbed dose obtained by calorimeter was the absorbed dose to graphite. We calculated this conversion factor by the EGS5 Monte Carlo simulation. Result and discussion. I will talk about the absorbed dose to water calibration coefficients. The calibration coefficients of the two types ionization chambers were increased as the field size became smaller. And this is because non-uniformity of dose distribution as the sensitive volume increased as the field size became smaller. The uncertainty of the calibration coefficients of the A11 chamber was reduced by 0.47% compared to the FC23C chamber. This difference came from that it was not necessary to consider the volume averaging correction factor for the A11 chamber because the A11 chamber has same sensitive volume as the calorimeter. Conclusion. The absorbed dose to water calibration coefficients of small field for parallel plate ionization chamber was determined using the compact graphite calorimeter. The volume averaging correction factor of the calorimeter and the ionization chamber were evaluated by using the Gafchromic EBT3 film. The uncertainty of the calibration coefficients of the EX-Radin A11 was smaller than that of the IBA FC23C chamber. As a future scope, we plan to determine the calibration coefficients for the FFF high energy photon beams using a graphite calorimeter and the EX-Radin A11 chamber. Thank you for your attention.
So thank you. Dear judges, please ask him question if you have.
Thank you very much. A very interesting study and very scientifically presented. Can I just ask, why do you want to use a parallel plate chamber in small fields? What is the rationale?
That's simple. The chamber used in this study, the EX-Radin A11, has same sensitive volume as a calorimeter. So the volume averaging correction factor, it was not necessarily considered the volume averaging correction factor.
But that wasn't intended to be used clinically then, but it was used as a scientific experiment, which came across very well. Yes, thank you.
Well, Renate, do you have any question to the presenter?
No, but thank you for this interesting talk.
Okay, so can we go to the next presenter?
So I think that is the last. So Masum, can we go back to the presenter Shumanta Manna?
Yes, we found Shumanta Manna video. He's not present here, but we can share his video. Can we go through it?
Yes.
Okay, dear technical team, please share the Shumanta Manna video, please. Thank you.
Myself Sumanta Manna. Today I am going to present the topic of my presentation is dosimetric comparison of amorphous silicon 1200 EPIT and Octavius 40 1500 detector array for patient specific quality assurance. So now the introduction. So patient specific dose comparison using gamma analysis is the most popularly used quality assurance tool for intensively monitored therapy plan. And pre-treatment quality assurance is also important process for every IMRT plan. There are various systems which is used to do specific quality assurance, and also Octavius 40 system, which consists of 1500 detector array, is a new phantom for determining the treatment plan quality. So the aim of our current study is to examine the IMRT plans using EPIT dosimetry and Octavius 40 1500 to determine the pre-treatment quality assurance result in head and neck cancer patients. So to do this, we took around 30 cases of head and neck plans, which we planned using Eclipse statement planning system from Variant for version 15.6 and AAA algorithm. And the treatment plans were then applied to the amorphous silicon 1500 1200 EPIT, and an agreement of PDB predicted and EPIT measurement of photon fluence distributions were evaluated using our system. On the other hand, we used Octavius 40 1500 phantom, and the gamma index were evaluated using that PTW provided VeriSoft software, which is used for that IMRT plan. And to do this gamma analysis, we used gamma criteria of 2 mm distance to agreement and dose difference of 3%. So the result of our study as shown in the figure in the left one, as you can see that a box plot of both EPIT and Octavius 40 distribution, where the gamma passing rate is shown in the figure. As you can see, using EPIT dosimeter and 2D array, we can achieve around 99% of gamma passing rate. On the other hand, using Octavius 40 detector array, the 4D analysis will give you around 97%. So as compared to that EPIT dosimetry, you will get around gamma passing rate in octave 4D detector. And on the evaluation of variation of different planes gamma analysis like coronal sagittal transverse plane, which is available in octave 4D detector array. So you can see that there's plane variations of gamma. We can found that around 96% in both coronal and sagittal plane, and there is a higher percentage rate found in the transverse plane of gamma. So the conclusion of our study is that the portal imager is efficient and accurate and sensitive dosimetry tool for pre-treatment quality assurance, but it also the basis of pre-treatment quality assurance protocol. And the overall results of patient-specific Aocmp fluence verification using EP dosimetry and octave 1500 are comparable. And moreover, the 3D slice evaluation, which is used, we can mainly use the newer version of octave 4D array, is give you generally comparable with the volumetric evaluation and suggesting that it could be favored to do 2D when you don't have the volumetric method is not available. So these are my references which I use for this study, and thank you for your kind attention.
So today's session is finished here. Thank you all for joining this session, and thank you our honorable judges for your valuable time. Dear judges, please send your evaluation form to the Aocmp team. I am requesting Dr. Akhtar Jaman sir, please conclude this session and talk something. Thank you.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I would request Professor Thomas sir and Renate ma'am to send your, the score. I have received, Professor Thomas, I have received your score that is based on the poster, but now we have got some interesting study here. So I would request you to revise it and send it to me. And also Dr. Renate, please send, and I will concise it and I will send to the organizing committee, honors and honors and award committee.
Excellent. I will adjust my scores. It was very helpful
So,
to
thank you. We have no more presentation here, and I would like to thank both of you for your precious time here, and I wish you good luck and wish the good success of this conference. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.